All right, let's talk about workplace safety. Think of this as your ultimate study guide. We're going to break down the core principles that apply everywhere, whether you're at a desk or on a massive job site. Let's jump right in.
When you think safety, you probably picture heavy machinery, maybe some hard hats, right? But a real safety mindset, that starts way closer to home. It starts right where you are. Look at this. Office ergonomics. The way you sit, the height of your monitor. These little things are what prevent long-term injuries. It's all about being aware of your immediate surroundings, always.
So here's our game plan for this study guide. We've got 5 chapters. We'll kick things off with your personal responsibility, then move into being aware of your environment. After that, we'll tackle high-risk tasks, what to do in an emergency, and we'll wrap it all up with a final checklist to make sure it all sticks.
Okay, let's dive into Chapter 1. This is all about your first line of defense, the stuff that's totally up to you. We're talking about the gear you wear and just being aware of your own body. Put them together and you've got your personal shield against whatever the job throws at you.
So, the bedrock of personal safety is what we call PPE, or personal protective equipment. Now, here's a really important insight from this definition. PPE doesn't make the hazard go away. Its job is to minimize your exposure to it. Think of it like a critical, life-saving barrier between you and an accident.
And of course, PPE comes in all shapes and sizes. You've got your standard hard hat that everyone knows, all the way to super specialized gear like respirators or chemical-resistant gloves. So the takeaway here is really twofold. First, always use the right PPE for the job. And second, and this is just as important, check it before every single use. A cracked helmet, a torn glove, that's not protection, it's just decoration.
That personal defense isn't just about gear, though. It's about knowing your own body's limits. Let's take heat stress. It is absolutely vital that you know the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. The biggest clue? Check the skin. If it's moist, that's exhaustion. But if it's dry and hot, that's heat stroke. And that is a full-blown medical emergency. Recognizing these signs isn't just smart. It can literally save a life.
Okay, so you've got your personal shield sorted, but that's only half the battle, right? Now, let's head into our next chapter. We're going to zoom out a bit from our personal gear and start talking about situational awareness, really looking at the hazards in all the different spaces where we work.
And you might be surprised where we're starting. The office. Believe it or not, it's a hotbed for injuries. And the number one cause? Simple slips, trips, and falls. Just think about it. That loose cord snaking across the floor, an open file drawer just waiting for a shin, that little bit of spilled coffee. These are the things that get people. It's a huge reminder that you got to stay alert everywhere.
Now, for anybody who drives for work, defensive driving is everything. The basics here, getting the big picture, leaving yourself an out, those apply anywhere. But pay close attention to the rules for tough environments, like the desert. If you get stranded, the most important rule, the one that could save your life, is to stay with your vehicle. It is so much easier for a rescue crew to spot a car or a truck than it is to spot a single person walking.
Not all hazards are things you can see. Noise is a perfect example. Being exposed to loud noise for too long can cause permanent hearing loss. But the solutions can be pretty simple. You can use existing buildings, like site huts, as a shield to block the sound. And an even easier one? If you're not using that noisy generator or compressor, just turn it off. Simple, but effective.
Okay, deep breath. We've covered our personal gear and being aware of our surroundings. That foundation is so important as we head into what might be the most critical chapter of all, handling high-risk operations. These are the jobs where there is absolutely no room for error. Following the procedure step by step is the only thing that gets everyone home safe at the end of the day.
Loading heavy equipment is a perfect example. Every single step in this process is there for a reason. It's designed to control a specific risk. You clear the area so no one accidentally gets in the way. You chalk the wheels so the trailer doesn't decide to take a walk. It's a careful, methodical dance, and skipping even one step could lead to total disaster.
Sometimes, the most important rules are just simple numbers, and these are 3 you should definitely lock into your brain. 10 feet, that's your minimum safe distance from overhead power lines. Electricity can jump, so that space is your only real protection. 4 feet, if a trench is that deep, the air at the bottom might not be safe to breathe. And 3 feet, that's how far your ladder needs to stick up past the edge to be stable. Simple numbers, but they save lives.
Now, on high-risk jobs like digging trenches, you have to have a competent person on site. So what does that really mean? Well, it's not just someone who's good at spotting a problem. The key phrase here, the part that gives this role its power, is that they are authorized to take action. This person has the authority to stop the entire job and say, nope, we're not continuing until this is fixed. That's a huge responsibility.
So far, pretty much everything we've talked about has been about preventing an accident. And that's goal number 1, always. But a complete safety plan has to include what to do when things still go wrong. So in this chapter, we're talking about emergency response, because what you do in those first few seconds can change everything.
Okay, let's take a common emergency, a fire. It's so easy to panic, to freeze up, but a simple little acronym can keep your head straight and help you do the right thing. So, I'll ask you, do you know how to race?
Let's break it down. R is for rescue. Get anyone who is in immediate danger out of there. A is for alert. Pull the fire alarm, yell fire, call 911. C is for contain. By closing doors, you can slow a fire down, you starve it of oxygen. And finally, E. E is the big decision. Extinguish or evacuate. Look, you should only even think about fighting a fire if it's tiny, like in a small trash can. You're trained to do it and you have a clear way out. If there is any doubt at all, your job is to get out. Evacuate.
Okay, now for some serious myth busting. A lot of people believe that a person who's been struck by lightning is still electrically charged and is dangerous to touch. This is 100% false. The body doesn't store electricity. You can, and you absolutely should, start first aid and CPR immediately. Don't hesitate. Your quick action could be the very thing that saves their life.
All right, we are in the home stretch. This is our final chapter, the big review session. We're going to bring everything together and make sure these key concepts are locked in for good.
Let's do a quick lightning round on the language of safety. PPE, that's your personal armor. ROPS, that's the roll cage on heavy equipment that can save an operator's life in a rollover. A GFCI is that special outlet that cuts the power instantly to prevent a deadly shock. And a competent person, that's your authorized safety expert on the job site. If you know these terms, you know the fundamentals.
So, we've covered a lot of ground, from your own personal gear to your environment to high-risk jobs and emergencies. But listen, this isn't just a list of rules to memorize. It's a framework for building a true safety mindset. Knowledge is great, but it's useless until you apply it. The real work starts now. So my question for you is this: what is the one safety habit you're going to start building tomorrow?